I have regrets. I shouldn't have been out here doing what I was doing behind a color, behind no wiggling of no fingers, behind some streets that I don't own.
That's real. You could kind of mirror prison to war. A lot of people go to war, Vietnam or Iraq, whatever it is, and they have PTSD coming back.
Right.
And let's say they did 4 tours from 18 years old. Now they're 32 and they're trying to talk to a woman or talk to a wife. And it's an amount that only so many war stories she probably want to hear. Right. But it's like, that's all I've known since I got out of school. That's all I've known. So what is the level for you as far as how much you speak about prison, as far as from the day you got out up until now? Did you kind of slowly get off of that, or do you even speak about prison to, let's say, strangers, friends, family?
Not initially, I don't. Like when I first met her, along with anybody else I met in life, they never even knew I was locked up. They never even knew I was locked up that long, because I learned real fast how to adjust with society. And then as a youth coming up, I'm not gonna say I grew up around pimps and players but see, that was kind of like part of my culture though. People who learn how to have a smooth line, you know what I'm saying? Have something slick to say. You learn short con, long con. All this was like given to you from the streets. It was phases to this shit coming up as a youth. You might start stealing candy out the store. You graduate to stealing dogs. You graduate to stealing bicycles. You go from stealing bicycles to breaking in houses, schools. Then you transgress into stealing cars. And then eventually you travel into drugs, robbery, and things of this nature. So it's a process to this. So my cultivation and me looking at society, coming from prison, getting back out here, I kind of pushed that back to where my demeanor would say, I ain't been to jail, because I learned how to smile. I learned how to talk to people about what they want to talk about. I learned how to take a yes, look at it like it's a no and look at it like it's a yes. But some people don't understand it. And what I mean by that is you got to read between the lines. People will tell you directly what they want you to know, but indirectly, the shit they don't tell you is the shit you really want to know. And you got to know how to read between the two.
You had said something at the beginning where, depends on what you were like going in, can decipher as far as how you are coming out. Like, let's say you were a person who followed rules, respectful, doing everything right, and then you're going to prison. And now you have to adjust to that versus someone who was already out here wilding, basically already animal outside in the real world and going to prison. They kind of at home with themselves. So thank you for speaking on that, because that actually makes it make more sense as far as what kind of man you are when you come out. Because some people might have been that same type of person going in. I say all that to say, we do these prison stories. We have these conversations. Of course, the goal is not to glorify prison. The goal is to, of course, just talk about experiences that you had in the 18 years you were in there. We were talking off camera about a situation that had happened. And again, you could speak on it again, but someone had to, I don't want to use the word come to your rescue, but someone had to get in between you and the situation. You could speak on that situation in itself. And also I want you to speak on like how many times do another inmate might come to your aid, whether you going to someone else's aid or someone coming to your aid to maybe stop something even crazier from happening.
In prison, that's the purpose of gangs, families, and organizations, because one man can't make it by itself. You got to have something behind you. Now, that don't mean you need another man. You might just have respect behind you. But you alone, individualized, is not good enough to make it in prison. And I tell people all the time, a lot of people go in, they say, hey, man, somebody ever touch you? You ever been raped? Dude ever try this here? Say, look here, man. You surrounded by 1 million niggas. Big, small, tall, short. Some can fight, some can't fight. Some good with a razor, some good with a brick. Any man locked in a cell, 10 or 15 niggas, I don't give a damn if you Bruce Lee. If one nigga grab your leg and another one grab your other leg, and one grab that arm and one grab that arm, what's stopping them niggas from getting that ass, man? Ain't nothing gonna stop that. It's too many of them. So a lot of people feel like that'll never happen to me. Hey, man, maybe you're right. But if it don't happen to you, then just count your blessings, man. Somebody might be praying for you. Maybe it ain't your time. Maybe that wasn't in your story, man. God probably looking over you. But I ain't never took no shit like that for granted. That's why niggas, what they say, turn into an animal while they locked up. Because don't nobody want no ass from a wild animal. You only want to take something from the pure. But if I can look at you and tell you a nasty, trifling motherfucker and you raw and uncut, nigga, I don't want you. What's sweet about you? And that's what niggas try to keep an image of. Ain't nothing to be played with over here. I ain't candy, man. And that's how it goes back to what I said about reputation. You can stand here by yourself, but if your reputation stink, ain't nobody gonna fuck with you, man. If they can smell that motherfucker before they see you, or they hear your name and they start thinking twice about it, you ain't gotta worry about that. But see, in a situation where you in a game, not necessarily saying you need one, but sometimes it's beneficial, and that's why a lot of people group up and join them. Niggas don't discover they don't like pork until they get to prison. They find out, damn, to be a Crip, I got to get beat up and get in there. Or I got to put in work. To be a Blood, I got to get beat up and put in there. But if I can go join Malik and Kane, all I got to do is carry this Quran, wrap this green shit around my motherfucking head and pray 5 times a day. Now all of a sudden, nigga writing home talking about he don't eat pork. Nigga, that Muslim shit ain't nothing but some gang shit to me anyway. You know what I'm saying? I look at the same thing. And I used to call them niggas, they Muslim gangsters over there, man. But they friendly gangsters. They friendly gang members. You know what I'm saying?
Would they protect you? I know, I hate to get stereotypical, but the movies always show like a young black dude, probably gang banging, get into the Muslim and some elder Muslim come and tell the niggas that he's off limits, we can't touch him and nobody can touch him, he's protected by the Muslim. Is that, like, do they offer protection like that? Or is it just more so because he's into his religion,
you know
we
what?
ain't gonna mess with him?
That's the humility within the organizations. It's not necessarily a manipulation. It's more of a, you come into the game and let's say I'm an OG. Okay, I'm not as flamboyant as I used to be. The peacock syndrome is gone. I don't need everybody to see my fellas. So now I reflect on how I became a part of it. I have regrets. I shouldn't have been out here doing what I was doing behind a color, behind no wiggling of no fingers, behind some streets that I don't own. So as a G, I check myself on that. So when I see another brother come through the system and he says, man, I want to change my life. I lost everything. Now I'm in jail, man. I don't want to do no banging, bro. I know y'all from over here. That's what I used to claim. I want to be with the Lord. Well, that goes back to keeping the cheat up off your shoulder, man. So you'll see a young nigga and say, all right, homie, you want to go over there and be down with them niggas? Go on, go be down with the Muslims, man. Renounce your flag, let them niggas know you ain't banging, man. And they'll give a nigga a pass like that. Mm. But then you catch one homie come through the door and he look at the nigga, but he know even in the streets, nigga, you was a bitch. You was hiding behind that flag. You wasn't built like that. That shit ain't in you. You was trying to identify with your surroundings, nigga. I know you was a hoe. And he want to get at it. Then they got to go to the Muslim. And the Muslim do say, hey, bro, that's one of my brothers, man. We can't let that transpire because he one of us. If you fuck with him, we gonna fuck with you. And then that's where the heads got to come together. So when that happen, what the Muslims may do or what they may not do, they may put him in a real situation to see what type of choices he gonna make to see if he for real. Because every movement has its own stipulations that you must abide by. So you can't come into the Muslim Brotherhood like you a sucker, running from some more shit and thinking we gonna play protected custody. Now, because I know some Muslims that's gonna stand up, stomp down, and they gonna say, look out, bro, you can't go smoke up them niggas shit, man. They wanna get on your ass and violate you, and then you wanna run over here and join us and think we gonna step up and speak for you. Because see, the thing about prison population is them numbers fluctuate. One day you might have 30 Crips over here. You might have 15 Muslims over there. After that ride between the Crips and the Bloods, you might have 10 Crips over here and 35 Muslims over there. So the politics in prisons vary. And it goes back to the numbers game. So if you get caught up on the wrong side, and that's what I say about doing time and being in time out. Some niggas don't stay locked up long enough to see the transition. Yeah. Some niggas don't stay in there long enough to see the wave come through that bitch to where a nigga know I done did this here 2-3 years ago. I'm still looking at that nigga down there. And I noticed when he hit that yard, he got about 20 niggas with him now. But then you sitting down here, and it ain't nothing but you and maybe 3-4 niggas. But you still got your reputation. So somehow, some way, man, you got to pick at them numbers over there. That's why the war in prison never stops. Because at all times, you got to stay afloat, man. Yeah. And each one of them niggas over there, hey, man, you never know when you're dealing with a crash dummy.